Okay, yarners, we are going to sew a flat piece onto the belly. Now, I already did that with the tiger on another video that I am not going to upload because it is horrible, so we're going to improvise. And I just wanted to remind you that a few things, some good tips that I've come up with, hopefully they're good tips to you, is keeping a junk drawer. Okay, I keep it in the middle of my house, and because I was crocheting yesterday, I crocheted outside while I was laying in the sun, and then I crocheted in my bedroom, so all my lost pieces found. Another thing is one of the pieces we're going to use today is from the yarn graveyard. So it's kind of cool to keep pieces. Sometimes I go back to see, what did I do? How did I mess up? Also, sometimes I might need a little piece of pink, maybe to make an ear, something tiny. So yeah, that's in there. This I did in another video, but I'm sticking it right back in here. But yeah, so it's very handy to have. Those are our body bags. Now, what we are going to do, this is the tiger. The body bags I keep in there with the yarn, and I do that so that they don't get tangled around. But like, I have all the ears and everything we've already made in the body bag. So, working on a few other projects. Here's the tail, actually, for the actual tiger, instead of the one that we made with the Cheshire Cat. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. It's just good to have. It's very handy because now this is kind of like not the greatest piece, but I started it off with a different piece of color yarn so that it is easier to see on this. This is also another one I messed up on. So I tried to tear off the belly so I could put this belly on, but whatever, we'll just put it on the back. Now these are the directions. We're sewing a flat piece / oval onto a plushie / main piece. Now, another thing I was going to show you is how to identify the rows. I know we've done this already before, but we're going to do it again so that I can show you my little trick that I do to ensure we're keeping those rows accurate. So it says start off between rows 4 and 5, right? So let's count. This is row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now I want to put that in there right now. And then the second instruction was 14 through 15. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're going to put another little guy in between there. Now what I didn't do is finish off this piece because I wanted to reiterate the invisible fasten off, right? So what we're going to do, the piece is done. We'll say it's a little raggedy, but it's done. So you want to leave a long tail to sew it on, right? So here's our long tail. Now what you're going to do is pull it all the way through, and that there is just a fasten off. That's it. Now to do the invisible fasten off, you want to use your tapestry needle, and you're going to insert it into the V. Zoom in. The V that is after the stitch marker, the whole V from back to front. Now leave it a little loose. Take out the stitch marker. Now what you're going to do is, you see where this came out of, this V right here? comes out of there. We are going to push the needle on the outer side of that V from back to front as well. So we kind of tangled this up a little bit. Now what you want to do is you want to tighten the one side and then tighten this side. Don't just pull as soon as you're done, because it'll actually look funny. Now, we're gonna go ahead and start. And hopefully with the different colors, you can see this better. Now, I made all these directions up. So, the tiger's already done. The video is horrible. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna identify where this guy is gonna start. And you can kind of make your own decision on where you want to start it. It really does not matter. The whole point is, like, the tiger was an oval. Let me bring him back. So you just wanted to make sure he was as accurate as possible, right? So this you just want to position the best, however you want it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take him and take where you want to, not necessarily start, I guess, wherever you want to match them up with a row. On the bottom, you want to do the same thing. Okay, so I got them fit. Now, sometimes you might want to put them on the sides if the piece is bigger and you feel like it's going to be a little tougher to work on it. But I think that's going to be okay for right now because, like I said, it's not the greatest piece. And I'm not working to make this perfect. I am making this to hopefully teach you a couple of tips and teach you how to sew it. So now for here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the next stitch. Now, this would be the next stitch, or you can start here. Really, from now, it can be based more on discretion. And I say that because we're probably going to run into something. I'm going to lay down so I can see. Now what you want to do is you want to start off by going down here. In between the whole V. All right, and then you're gonna find your stitch that's going to be directly underneath there. So it's right there, but you wanna make sure you're always forming and lining up your piece so that you don't find out at the end and then are just completely surprised that it is just distorted. So when you do this and you pick a spot, you want to go over a whole stitch. Okay, you don't want to go over one little piece of yarn. It can be ripped off, the whole stitch. Now what you want to do is go up and through the entire V in the very next stitch. All right, now you're going to go down in the very next stitch. And then you're going to kind of do what we just did again. Now, usually the next placement would be right here after there. And then again, up. I keep hitting my head on the thing. Up in there. Back down. Okay. Next one over. Well, kind of. It's a circle or it's an oval, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be kind of close so that you can't dig your fingers up underneath there. Okay, next stitch, but you do want to grab every single one of these stitches here. Back down. Now, sometimes, and I'm just going to do it just because, sometimes the piece really didn't move. And you might need to go back into that exact same stitch that you just did and then move over again. Because maybe you felt like it was too loose or it didn't form right. That's okay. Because you want to be directly up underneath the V's at all times. Because you want to hit every single one of these stitches. Okay, under here, you don't have to worry about that as much. I swear if I hit my head again. So, looking at the piece, forming it, let's ignore this this whatever that is. I don't know. That's probably why I got thrown away. Now what you don't want to do is what I did on this side. I was trying to rip it out, but like this, what I did is I stitched too far out, like for example, like this. And then I came back and then I did that, and you can see it. And there's not really a way to fix that, because when you move on, it doesn't matter how tight you pull. When you go on to the next one, you're still going to see that. You don't want to do that. So it's actually better to just be closer to the middle than way outside. Now, if you feel like the reason why you have to do that is to stretch it out, then you just need to pull it out on this side and just try to match it up. And worst comes to worst, you're just going to use your needle to pick it back through. So now we're going to speed up this process, but remember, this here is the row you're supposed to touch. So you want to make sure you touch that row. And where is the next V? I can't really see it, but I don't want to make this video super long, so we're going to speed this up a little bit. We're just going to skip some rows because I want to show you how to finish it. You know, it's not very fun watching 30-minute videos on a technique that I could have showed you with only 2 or 3 stitches, but I want to show you how you finish it off. Now, sometimes, if it's kind of like that, I actually will insert some stuffing. I don't try to get too brave and try to do this and pull through like that. That's one of the biggest ways to mess up. Okay, so we're gonna say we came to the end, right? Here's the last one. We're gonna do, this looks so bad, but it's going in the graveyard. Okay, so we did the last stitch, right? What you want to do is try to hide your color as best as you can inside the piece, and make it pretty much impossible for somebody to pull it back out. So what you generally do, now we're going to pretend this is white because it was supposed to be. What happened is I had to add the yellow because I didn't have a tail for this piece. But this was the only flat piece I had in the yarn graveyard. So what you would do here is you would probably go through there. You don't want it to be seen, right? And then maybe do that again through over here, maybe in an existing stitch. And just however many times you feel like you need to do that. And that's pretty much it. When you're finished doing all that, oops, I just stabbed him in the nose. you're going to go out in any random part of the body, right? And then cut it. And then what you do is you squeeze it until it's gone. See, he's all gone. So I know that was pretty messy, but hopefully you get the idea of that. I'm really sorry. I completely messed up on this video. It was really, really bad. Yesterday I was really, really tired, and you know, my back hurt because I had my spine crushed. So there we go. I've already done the video on the tail. So I guess now we're gonna sew the tail on and put together our piece like a little puzzle.